And every day you're about to find out what it is you were meant to do and how to monetize it and how to have meaning, purpose, significance. And every day you remember to say those words, I matter, I'm significant, I'm lovable, I'm enough. When you know you're enough, you don't need more. Success is not about never failing. It's not about never having setbacks. It's about how quickly you bounce back, how quickly you get back up. You have got to commit right now that you will accept compliments, you will accept praise, and you will praise yourself. You know, I told you this morning, because it's the groundwork, there is nothing that will raise your self-esteem like praise. And nothing will diminish it faster than criticism, by the way. Superior people praise, inferior people criticize. They diminish you. If this was a seesaw, try to make that look straight, and an inadequate person is here and you're here, they don't want you to be equal. They really want to diminish you. They like that. And the only way someone can diminish you, they only have two choices: embellish themselves or diminish you. No one in my family was divorced. I've got a university degree. I come from money, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't wear that, do that, say that. They diminish you or they elevate themselves better, but they can only do that if you let them. You know, I was doing a television show many years ago, and my producer said, just to let you know, one of the celebrities on the show, very famous, their manager is here. She wants one of her stable of talent to have your job, and I've told them would never replace you, but she's very keen, and she doesn't like you very much. I'm like, okay. So we sat in the green room, and she went, well, you know I'm the agent of Dr. S. I said, yes. She said, and she's amazing. I said, oh, I know, she's lovely. She said, she's got a degree, you know. I said, I know. She said, have you got a degree? I said, no. She said, are you a doctor? I said, no. She went, oh, well, she's a doctor. I said, no, but you know what I do have? I have hundreds and hundreds and thousands of happy clients, and I have loads of money in my bank account, but I'm not a doctor, and I've got no need to be one, because I got happy clients and I'm wealthy, and that tells you I'm doing the right thing. And she looked at me, and then she laughed, and then a month later she called me and said, could I give you a job? Dr. X can't do this. She's not as good as you. I've got a job with Sony, and I want you. And she gave me this amazing job. They paid me so much money because I didn't let her do that. I didn't allow her to make my seesaw go down. When she said, my client's got a degree, and she's been to medical school, and she spent 13 years becoming a psychiatrist, what have you got? I said, money, happy clients, books full of testimonials, boxes full of cards, a wall full of babies that would never be born, people who tell me that I saved their life, changed their life. Has she got all of that? I didn't say that, actually. I already knew she hadn't. And by the way, we both wrote a book, and mine is a bestseller, and hers is still struggling along. And it's a nice book, but it's an academic book. It doesn't speak to people. People don't go, oh, that makes sense. They go, yes, the frontal neuron lobe cortex of someone who's depressed has got a lack of magnesium, and that happens when the central nervous system, oh, I can't understand this book. But as I say, look, you know what causes depression? 3 things: harsh, hurtful, critical words that you say to yourself, not following your heart's desire, not allowing yourself to connect. Your DNA insists on connection. It's how we survive. When we shut ourselves away and disconnect and watch Netflix and get Uber Eats to deliver and not speak to anyone, that makes you depressed. So you've got to receive praise, and you've got to praise yourself a lot, every day. What I showed you, I matter, I'm significant, I'm worthy, I'm lovable, I have a gift, I don't know what it is, but I know I can monetize it. You know, not long ago in the UK, the policeman kept finding these kids with half a tennis ball in their pocket. What is that? They were so smart, they realized that if you took this half a tennis, put it over a Mercedes and smacked it, the air would go into the locking system, disable the central lock, and they could steal the cars. And Mercedes was smart enough to employ those kids. Wow. You can bypass a central locking. You've worked out how to do that with half a tennis ball. You need to come and work for me. And some of the best security systems have people. What was that great movie with Leonardo DiCaprio where he was the pilot? Do you remember? And who does he work for now? He works for the FBI because that was a talent. Everyone has a talent. And you can monetize it if you believe you're worth it. So what I want to do is put you all in hypnosis and take you back to where you got your money beliefs. If you've never been hypnotized before, it's very easy. All I require you to do is to look up like that, keep your eyeballs up, close the lids down. So you're going to roll your eyes up and close the lids. Let's practice that. Look up. Keep your eyeballs up and close your eyelids down. If you can do that, you can't stop yourself going into hypnosis because you're going into a REM state, you're going into an alpha brainwave that you go into when you sleep. And then you're going to go into theta, the most relaxing brainwave where you accept suggestions. So just open your eyes. And if anyone says, I don't want to be hypnotized, you're going to turn me into a chicken or make me fall in love with a fire hydrant, and I don't want that. You can't stay in hypnosis. And you cannot be made to do anything you don't want to do. But what you want, you can accelerate that. You can get more of it. So we're going to go back and find out why you have these beliefs. We're going to get rid of them. You all ready? All in agreement? No one's going to come out of here in love with a fire hydrant. That's impossible. I promise you. So look up as high as you can. Keep your eyeballs up, keeping your eyeballs up. Breathe in, breathe out. Take another deep breath, breathe in. And every time you blink, deep, deep, powerful hypnosis is coming upon you. Breathe out. And one final time, breathe in. Keep your eyeballs up. The more you blink, the deeper, faster you are going into hypnosis, keeping your eyeballs up as you exhale. Just close your eyelids right down, all the way down as your eyelids shut down. The muscles and nerves in and around your eyes are becoming heavy, droopy, drowsy. I want you to drop your chin just a fraction. So you feel that same looking down feeling that you might feel as you look over a balcony or down a flight of stairs. You are looking down 10 steps. You're moving on to step 10. And as I count, you're going to see your feet, hear your feet, feel your feet treading each step. Right now you are moving on to step 10 as each muscle. Every nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. You are taking step 9 and 8, going deeper into an awareness of yourself. You are taking step 7, going deeper with every number I count. You're taking step 6. Every sound and noise and movement around you is carrying you deeper, further into the most powerful, profound, deep, empowering, healing level of hypnosis. You are taking step 5, going even deeper. Step 4, as each muscle. Every nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. You're taking step 3, going deeper, deeper, deeper. You're taking step 2, going deeper into a healing, powerful, wonderful place. You're taking step 1, just go deeper, 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 deeper. Hypnosis is not about being asleep. In fact, it's about waking up to your potential, waking up to who you are, waking up to the fact that you were put here with a unique skill that you can monetize better than anyone else. That's why you're here. So you're not going to sleep, but you are about to wake up. And hypnosis is really just about getting the mind to accept better suggestions. I want to show you all that you are deeply, powerfully suggestible. If you haven't got what you want, guess what? It's because you're so suggestible. You've said, oh, that will never happen for me. Other people can do that. I can't ask for money. I can't get a promotion. I can't put myself, I don't know how to sell my products. I don't feel comfortable. And your mind goes, you know what? You're right. You're always right. So I'm going to show you how incredibly powerful you are. I want you to stretch your arms out in front of you as if you're holding onto the handlebars of a bike. I want you to close your hands like you're holding the reins of a horse. Close your hands together. Your hands are about 6 inches apart. And I want you to imagine in your left hand you are holding an enormous red fire bucket that weighs about 80 pounds. You are holding a heavy bucket full of wet cement. You're holding a heavy bucket in your left hand. And your left hand is becoming heavier and heavier and heavier. You can feel the weight of that bucket in your wrist, in your fingers, in your knuckles, traveling up to your elbow, traveling up to your shoulder. Your left arm is getting heavier and heavier by the second. And as that big red fire bucket pulls your left arm down and down and down, your whole body is so heavy. It is sinking right down into the chair. Your eyes are heavy. But your right arm is attached to a pulley. It's like you have an enormous helium-filled balloon in your right arm that is bigger than you, completely weightless, lighter than air, and your right arm is floating up, moving up, traveling up, lifting up all of its own accord. Your right arm is moving, floating, lifting, traveling, pulling up. And you're beginning to notice, well, this is interesting. One arm is way down, but the other is weightless. One arm is floating up, and the other's pulling down. One arm is floating up because it's weightless, and the other is traveling down because it's weighed down. That's because you are powerfully, beautifully suggestible, so much so, try to push your right arm down, and notice it's like trying to push a balloon underwater. Try to push that right arm down. It's like trying to push a beach ball underwater. It won't have it. And the more you try to push it down, the more it springs up. And now try to lift your left arm up and find out, oh, someone came along and encased that in concrete. It won't go up. It's determined to stay down. One arm is way down, one arm is weightless, because you are suggestible. As I count to 3, let go of the bucket, let go of the balloon, go at least 50 times deeper on the count of 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to count backwards now, and your mind is going to go back. It's like I'm about to play a movie of your life, and it's going to go backwards, backwards, backwards. Your mind is going to take you back, move you back, travel you back. You're going back in time, and all of a sudden you're going to be back at a scene, place, event that is where you got these money blocks. Now, even if you go back to scenes of abject poverty and deprivation, having to wear second-hand clothes, you can't relive that. You can only review it. You cannot relive anything. People say, can I go back to the best orgasm I ever had and have it again? Not really. You can remember it, go, that was amazing. Can I go back to the best meal I've ever eaten and taste it now? No, you can remember it. You can review it. You can't relive it. If someone slapped your leg, it's not going to sting. It's not going to hurt you. Reviewing, yeah, my mum hit me when I asked for money. And that's a painful thought, but it doesn't hurt today. Review, not relive. It's very different. And by the way, whatever you go back to, you dealt with a memory then, and you're dealing today with a meaning you attach, the interpretation you put on, and you're about to change it. So on the count of 5, you are drifting right back right now to a vivid, vital, crucial, absolutely significant scene that is the cause, the reason, the root of how, where, why, and when you got money blocks, wealth blocks, financial blocks. On the count of 4, you are becoming younger, smaller, lighter, shorter. On the count of 3, years, months, weeks, days are peeling away from your body as you drift right back right now to a vivid, vital, crucial scene that is the cause, the reason, the root of any and every money block. You are drifting right back right now. That movie of your life is going backwards, 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 rewinding, rewinding, and be there. And it's stopping exactly at a scene that's impacted you your entire life. And as I ask these questions, you immediately know the answer. Here's the first question. It's rather like you just switched on a laptop computer. The picture is warming up and coming into focus. You are right in the middle of that scene, this scene in your mind where you are right now. Is it daytime? or is it nighttime? Are you inside or are you outside? Are you on your own or is anybody with you? How old are you about? And here is the only question that matters. What are you doing, seeing, feeling, and experiencing in that scene? As I click my fingers, you can feel what you felt then. You can see exactly what you saw then. And as I count to 3, your ears are wide open and you can hear exactly what you heard then about money, or the lack of it, or the shame of it, or the embarrassment, or the inability to ever even find it. Here it comes on the count of 1, 2, and 3. Your ears are wide open. I want you to hear exactly what you heard then. What is being said over you, around you, through you, right in your line of hearing? What are you hearing about money? And who is it that's telling you this stuff? Sometimes it's parents fighting about money, crying about money, refusing to give you money. Stay in that scene. Just stay in that scene. I want you to look over it, look around it, look through it, look over, look around, look through that scene. And when you've looked over it and around it and through it, I want you to go, yeah, wow, look at that. This is a light bulb moment. I'm suddenly understanding where I got these beliefs from. There's not enough. There's never enough. Other people have more. Or if I've got it, I better be embarrassed about it. This is your light bulb moment, your aha moment, your illuminating moment. I want you to keep that image clearly in your mind as if you've got a photograph or a DVD. You're going to put it to one side, but we're coming back to it. Put it to one side. We're going to go back again to another vivid, vital, crucial, deeply significant scene that is why you ever got this confusing, dysfunctional belief and relationship with money. On the count of 5, you are back in that movie, rewinding, going backwards, backwards, backwards. You are becoming younger, smaller, lighter, shorter. Years, months, weeks, days are peeling away from your body as you go right back right now to a vivid scene, a clear scene. An absolutely powerful scene that has impacted you your entire life. On the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, here it comes. And it's just like you switched on a television set and a picture is warming up. And there you are right in the middle of that picture. Feel what you felt then. See what you saw then. Is it daytime or nighttime? Are you inside or outside? Are you on your own or is anybody with you? How old are you about? And the only question that matters, by the way, what are you seeing, feeling, hearing? What are you experiencing? You can see what you saw then. You can feel what you felt then. And as I count to 3, your ears are about to open wide and you can hear. Here it comes, something you heard all about money. On the count of 1, 2, and 3, just be there. Stay in that scene, hear what you heard. Somebody is saying something right in your line of hearing. You can hear something about money that's impacted you your entire life. And again, this is a light bulb moment for you, an illuminating moment, an aha moment. Oh, wow, look at that. Yeah, of course. That's why I never asked. That's why I've denied myself, deprived myself, held myself back, felt uncomfortable with money, felt I should never discuss it, talk about it, ask for it, kept myself small. Stay in that scene. I want you to look over that scene, to look around it, to look through it, like you're watching a movie of your life. But today, you get to change the ending, to make the ending what it should have been. Look over and around and right through that scene, understand it, put it to one side. And we're going to do this just one more time. This time you're going back to the earliest scene, the most profound scene, the most powerful scene, where you really learnt these confusing, contradictory beliefs about money and success too. So on the count of 5, one more time, that movie is going backwards, 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 rewinding backwards, playing backwards, taking you back. Even further back, as back you go to a vivid, vital, crucial, significant scene to do with why you got these blocks about money and indeed success. You are becoming younger, smaller, lighter, shorter. Years, months, weeks, days are peeling away from your body. You are drifting right back, right now. Just be there. As I click my fingers, that computer is switched on, television screen is switched on, the screen is warming up, and there it is, a scene, and you are right in the middle of that scene. And in this scene where you are now, is it daytime or nighttime? You know. Are you inside or outside? You know. Are you on your own or with people? You know. How old are you about? And here's the only question anyway that matters. What are you doing? Seeing, feeling, experiencing. Feel what you felt, then see what you saw, then see the entire experience that you went through with your little mind that could do feeling and not logic and believed everything. You learned what you lived. You played the only part you'd ever known, and then you made it your own without even knowing what you were doing. And on the count of 1, 2, and 3, your ears are wide open. Here comes something you heard. Somebody said something, and you heard it about money. On the count of 1, 2, and 3. Hear what you heard then. Look over, look around, look through that scene, unpick that scene, unravel that scene, make sense of that scene, how it impacted you, how it affected you, what it did to you. And now I want you to imagine you've got all the scenes in your hand, like you're holding 3 playing cards, you're holding 3 movies, and you're able to say to yourself, okay, in my left hand, I'm holding these 3 different scenes about money from my past. In my right hand, I'm looking at me. Lay your left hand and right hand out in front of you with the palms up. You're looking at your left hand at those 3 scenes. And in your right hand, here is a scene of you today with a money block, a success block, a career block, a limiting belief. Something that's held you back, and you're saying to your mind, how did those 3 scenes I just looked at cause the scene today? Subconscious mind, brilliant mind, tell me, show me, explain to me, how did those scenes then lead me to be where I am today? And here it comes. It's just starting to make sense. It's beginning to unfold. You can see, of course, my parents were victims of their upbringing. And they told me their stuff. Don't talk about money, it's not polite. Never mention money, don't ask. I want, never get. Don't be greedy. Only greedy people ask. If you have more, someone else has to have less. Don't show off. Don't draw attention. Don't ask. Don't show me up by asking for stuff I can't buy. Don't make me feel bad as your parent by getting all the stuff I couldn't get, because that's going to make me resent you. Don't do well, because what about your sister? What about your brother? How will they feel if you take off and shine? And teachers, some of them have a lot to answer for too. You'll never make it. Don't even think you could ever go there. Stay in that scene. And now we're going to do something called neuroplasticity at work, practical neuroplasticity. I want you to go back to that first scene, and you are going to justify to me right now why it's not you. You see, again, we play the only part we've ever known. We play back this old movie. I don't know how to ask for money. I feel so bad discussing money. I hide my money, pretend I have less. I pretend I have more. I never was allowed to say, how much did that cost? My granddad, that was a terrible thing. Don't talk about money. It's evil. It's a pursuit of evil. That's not true. So I want you to go back to that first thing. I want you to say out loud, that's not me. Repeat after me on the count of 1, 2, and 3. That's not me. That kid in that scene is not me. And will never be me. Ever again. For the rest of my long, wealthy life. Because. And I want to hear the ending. So I'm going to repeat this. And this is like Chinese whispers. I'm going to say something. You're going to put on an ending. You're going to say it with passion, with conviction. You know, thoughts are things. If you put wires on someone's head and have them think and speak, their neurons take shape in accordance with the thoughts they're thinking, the words they're saying. And if you say positive stuff, you can make positive neurons, and the negative ones will start to unravel. So repeat after me, and remember, you're going to finish the sentence. That's not me.
That's not me.
That cannot be me. Will not be me,
Ever
again, for the rest of my long, wealthy life, because, and I need to really hear these becauses. I want you to shout it out, say it louder, stay in the first scene, and one more time. That will not be me, ever again, never again. That cannot be me, because. If you can really do the it's not me, you are shattering, smashing, erasing, eradicating, breaking those old beliefs. And you went, I'll do that. Well, that's what's going to happen. So, scene 2. I want you to say out loud, that's not me.
That's not me.
That can never be me. Will not be me. Ever again. For the rest of my long, abundant life. Because. Shout it out. Scream it out. As you get older, what scared you as a kid is irrelevant. And these beliefs are irrelevant too. So this time I want to hear some conviction, some energy, some volume in your voice. So scene 2, that's not me.
That's not me.
That will never ever be me. Ever again, for the rest of my abundant life, because that's more like it. That's good neuroplasticity. It works. So let's go back to scene 3. The scene where you may have gone back to the earliest memory, to do with wealth, to do with success, to do with abundance, to do with being blocked, being limited, being held back by belief. And I want you to say one last time, but with real energy, that's not me.
That's not me.
That can never be me.
That can never be me.
Ever again.
Ever again.
For the rest of my long, abundant life.
For the rest of my long, abundant life.
Because. And the very last time, that's not me. Will never, ever be me. For the rest of my wealthy life. Because I want you to put your arms around yourself like you're holding yourself, like you're about to rock yourself. I want you to hold a little kid who's grown up in a house with some extraordinarily confusing beliefs. Really confusing beliefs. When I was 13, my dad said I could have this money on my birthday to buy these trousers I wanted, and I don't know what was going on with him that day, but when I asked him, he was so angry, he threw the money at me, all in coins. And I picked it up, but I never enjoyed buying those trousers. I felt that in asking him for money, I upset him, I angered him, he didn't want to give it to me. And that scene affected me for a long, long time. I'm not worth it. To get what I want, it upsets someone else. But that's not me. And if I went to my dad today and said, Dad, could I have some money for some trousers? He would give it to me with joy, because he's not the person he was then, struggling and never having enough himself. So I want you to take that little kid in your arms, and I want you to transport them back to wherever you live now. Walk through the door. And I want you to repeat some words after me, even if they feel silly. I want you to say, I'm becoming a loving parent to you now. You live in my world now. This is a better, safer, nicer place. I love you. I admire you. I see how gifted you are. I see your skills. I see your talents. I'll always have so much time for you. You and I have balance now. I'm becoming a loving parent to you now and always. And no one in the world could play this role better than me. I know what you need to hear. I know what you need to feel. I love you. You're worth everything. You are so worthy, so deserving, so talented, so gifted, so skilled. And you live in my world. And I'm upgrading you into my world now. And as I upgrade you into my world, you can never go back. Not even in your daydreams. And I want you to imagine taking that child into your living room where you probably have Sonos or Alexa or cable TV, none of which, by the way, you had as a child because Sonos didn't exist. So look at all the stuff in your living room that you have. Go into your bedroom and look at the bedroom you have. Open the cupboards. You're not wearing second-hand clothes, other people's stuff. Going to school without lunch money. Going to school hating the lunch you've got and being the other kids have more stuff. That's not you. Go into your kitchen, open the fridge. You get to choose what to eat and not eat. You get to choose what to believe and not believe. And I want you to tell that little kid how your world is different. I want you every day to think, oh, look at this, I'm driving a car. Clearly I'm not 5 because I'm driving a car. I'm paying for something with a credit card. I'm buying what I want. Now you can have what you want and what everyone else has, which is a belief, I'm worth it, I deserve it. So I'm going to take a couple of minutes and I want you to remember, it's what I call the missing bit of you. What did you most want to hear when you were a little kid? You know better than me. Did you want someone to say, you know, you're so smart? When you grow up, you're going to make a whole livelihood because of your smartness. Gosh, you're good at creating. How good you are inventing, writing, drawing, thinking, speaking. When you grow up, you're going to make a living. You can monetize your special talent because the universe gave you that and it will support you. It wants you to monetize it. That's why it gave it to you. No one said to Frank Sinatra, you should be a plumber. And Barbara Streisand should be a nail technician. To think the universe gave you those talents so they could go and be a bricklayer? I don't think so. Frank Sinatra was given a voice to share with the world. Barbara Streisand was given a voice. Charles Dickens was given an imagination to share with the whole world, and so were you. So I want you to say to that little kid, you can do it in your head or out loud, you are smart, you have a gift, and you can monetize that gift. That's why you have the gift. I gave you a gift to share with the world. Share that gift. Shine. Dazzle. Be amazing. I put you here to be amazing. You may have come through some parents who had issues, but you came through them, not from them. The universe created you, and it put you here, and it gave you something, and your job is to share that with the world, and go deeper, and understand that everything you want without acceptance is how it makes you feel. Everything you buy. I want an iPhone 10. My iPhone 7 is great, but I want the 10 because it makes me feel better. Whatever you want is because of how it is going to make you feel. If you can create, design, come up with something that makes people feel better, then you are destined for success, destined for wealth, destined for abundance. And even if you don't know what it is yet, you'll find it. You just have to say, I have something to offer the world. And if my something I have to offer makes people feel better, I'm unstoppable. Because you are. So just let yourself go deeper. As you go deeper, drift deeper, sink deeper. As you go deeper, you're remembering that little baby who was born with 24-hour room service. All their needs were met, who felt they could do anything. When you tried to walk, you cracked it. When you tried to talk, you cracked it. When you tried to feed yourself, you did it. You were born wired and coded to make it. And you are still wired and coded to make it. You are erasing, eradicating, eliminating, erasing, shattering, and smashing those old beliefs. And as you let them go in their place is a new belief. I have something of value to offer the world. I'm here to make a difference. I matter. I've got something to say, something to do, something to achieve, and I can do that better than anyone else. I have my own unique skill set. You have your own unique skill. There is something you can do. There is something you can do, offer, achieve, share. Because the universe put you here for a reason. It gave you something for a reason. Because if we were all brilliant chefs, people wouldn't go out to eat. If we were all brilliant repairers, we would repair our own stuff. If we were all brilliant gardeners, if we were all good at everything, that would be a very unfair world. You're supposed to be a master of something. And you are able to be your master of something. You only have to be good at one thing. You have to recognize what you're good at. Tell people, this is my gift. This is what I'm good at. This is my area of excellence. Everyone has one, including you. So as you go deeper, drift deeper, sink deeper, you remember, I accept praise. I accept compliments. I fill myself up with praise. I fill myself up with compliments. I nourish and sate myself with praise and compliments. I am receiving, 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 expanding, expanding, expanding every day, receiving more and more. And that's just the beginning. Because now I'm ready to receive. Now I'm ready to accept. I'm also ready to accept that people will invest in my talent, invest in my skills, invest in me. People are ready to invest in you because you are worth investing in. You know it. And every day understanding is power as you understand how, where, why, and when you pick up those old limiting beliefs. You understand it's not you. And when you leave it today, when you're driving home, taking the train, getting out your phone, you go, look at that. I'm not a kid, I'm me. I have a world full of possibilities. I live in a world full of possibilities. You live in a world full of possibilities. There's never been a better time to monetize your skill set, to monetize your gift, to monetize your talent, to monetize you, who you are, why you're here, what you're meant to give and share. When you find out what you're meant to do, it makes your life amazing. When you share it, you have meaning and purpose and significance every day. And every day you're about to find out what it is you were meant to do and how to monetize it and how to have meaning, purpose, significance. And every day you remember to say those words, I matter. I'm significant, I'm lovable, I'm enough. When you know you're enough, you don't need more, but you find it. More love, more praise, more wealth, more abundance. Abundance means a lot of everything all at the same time. And you can have everything, you can have it all, and you can have it all the time when you know you are worth it. So I want you to go, I'm worth it. I'm worth it. I'm so worth it. I couldn't be more worth it. I'm worth everything. I'm worth investment. I'm worth praise. I'm worth recognition. I'm worth abundance and wealth and love and joy and success. It's all available to me. I know it. I live it. I breathe it. It's the truth about me. And as you remind yourself of that every day, that's exactly what it is. You are becoming a living, walking, talking example of the fact that you are worth it. You are enough. You are talented. You are gifted. You're extraordinary. The universe gave you a skill it didn't give anyone else. And you can monetize that. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone, but you do need to praise yourself a lot. Every day, build that praise muscle. Build that receive muscle. Expand. And as you expand, your potential expands, and then it expands more. And as you keep expanding towards success, you can never go back, not even in your daydreams, because that's not you. You are expansion. You are amazing. You're worth everything and more. So knowing you're worth it, feeling you're worth it, maybe in the break sharing with other people why you're worth it. And why your dream isn't a dream, it's something you're going out and making real. And maybe sharing the scenes you went back to, which you already feel like so far away from you, talk about them in a detached, objective way, because that just isn't you. So feeling amazing, feeling liberated, feeling free, feeling phenomenal. Open up your eyes, fill up your lungs, take a deep breath. And give yourself a massive round of applause, because you deserve that. So I'm going to ask you 4 questions right now about how true to yourself you are, how authentically you are living your life. And if you think, well, I'm not, that's okay, because I'm going to show you how to get that back. So question number 1, do you value yourself? And how much value do you think you bring to your career of choice? You see, we all have the same needs. We need to have certainty, diversity, connection, significance, growth, contribution, making a difference. The number 1 reason that people stay in a career and will never leave is I make a difference, I contribute something, I feel like I'm doing something meaningful. And the number one reason to leave a career is, what's the point? This is just so menial. I don't feel it has any purpose. And so a lot of people kind of give up and go, well, I need to make the money, the paycheck is good, I'm going to sacrifice my emotional, mental health because I've got a good salary. But what you need to have is a very good salary and this feeling of I'm making a difference, I'm doing something worthwhile, I'm contributing, I'm growing. And the thing that's stopping you doing that is not your skill. It's not your education, it's your beliefs. I can't do that. That's too difficult. That's too hard. No one in my family has ever done that. Some of the smartest people in the world, in the most fulfilling careers, didn't go to university, thought outside the box. But you have to value yourself. To have a career that you value, you have to value you. So it really goes back to your thinking, am I worth having an amazing career? Have I got something to offer? What was I put on the planet to do? What makes my heart sing? And if you answer those questions, you'll find that you can find the career that is meant for you, that has your name all over it. But it's hard to find it until you take some time to really value yourself and say that magic expression, I'm worth it. I'm worthy of this. I deserve it. And I can do this really, really well. How would you feel if you got to the end of your life and you'd never had a career that you really loved? You see, when you do something that you hate, that you don't like, that doesn't fulfill you, you pay a terrible price. Doing a job that you actively dislike, that doesn't make you happy, will cost you so much, not just your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, but it will cost you regret. I've worked with many clients who are on a retirement come to me and say, hey, I always wanted to be in law, but I've been a teacher. I always wanted to work as a vet, but I've spent my whole life not doing it, and now it's too late, and now I'm depressed. I'm full of regret. We so often regret what we didn't do. But it's never too late at any age to find what you're meant to do, to go into a career where you are supported, where you're surrounded by people who value you, believe in you, support you, praise you, where you have a voice and you're not afraid to share your thoughts, your beliefs, your opinions, your feelings, and where you get great feedback almost all the time. So number 3, what are your gifts? What are your strengths? Here's a great question. If you didn't need a salary, what would you do? If you didn't need to be paid, what would you do? Because so many of us do what we don't want to do just for money. Some people even earn a lot of money and go, but I don't like what I do. I'm just trapped here. If I could wave a magic wand and say, pick the career of your dreams, what would it look like? What would it give you? How would it use your strengths? How would it use your unique skill set? Because you do have a unique skill set. Everyone I've worked with, even criminals, they have a unique skill set. Their unique skill set is often conning people because they're very good at that. Now, we're not going to go near that career, but nevertheless, it's important to say, I have got a skill set. Don't ever go there, no, I'm not good at anything. There's something you are really, really meant to do. The universe put you on the planet. It gave you a talent. It gave you a gift. You may not know what it is, but you can find out what it is. Find out what you're meant to do, who you're meant to be by focusing on your strengths. What do you love? The key to what you are meant to do lies directly behind and is connected to what you love to do in the age of 7 and 14. And you may say, I don't even know. That's okay. Take some time and maybe you'll be able to find out. Imagine if we all had gifts at every subject. We'd never employ a decorator, a painter, a handyman, wouldn't go to restaurants, wouldn't buy clothes that other people made, because we could do everything. You're meant to be good at one thing, And the one thing you are good at is very different to what someone else is good at. So I will employ someone to decorate my house, even do my garden, because that's not my gift. You have a gift, and you're not supposed to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. That would be really unfair. I see so many kids go, I'm no good at science. I go, that's okay. You're supposed to be good at English. Let someone else be good at science. You're great at IT. You don't have to be good at sport. Just be good at what you're good at. Find what you are good at. Be great at it. And don't even worry about what you're not good at, because you were never meant to be good at that. That's for someone else. Here's number 4. When you were a child, you thought you could do anything. I'm going to be a pilot. I'm going to be a fireman. I'm going to be an astronaut. Little children have no limits on what they think they can do. They haven't learned to have limiting beliefs and blocking beliefs. They feel they can do anything, be anything, go anywhere. And I wonder what's happened to you. How did you lose that belief that, oh, I'm going to do that? That's got my name all over it. I've worked with many young children, and they have big dreams. They're very ambitious. They always want to be something amazing and profound, and they're always going to make a difference. Once upon a time, you came onto the planet feeling invincible. There was nothing you couldn't do, nowhere you couldn't go. You thought you maybe be a dancer or a pilot, and you wouldn't even question whether you could do that. You just believed that you could do it. So when you look back at that little kid inside of you that was full of excitement, full of ambition, full of dreams, full of big goals, what happened? Why did you stop believing that you could do anything and be anything? Because you can actually reactivate, remanifest, even regenerate, and certainly recreate that belief you were born with. I'm going to do something amazing with my life. You can get all of that back starting today. Many people look at me and say, wow, I'd love to have your job. I've had so many clients come to me for therapy, go, I want to do what you do. And eventually I created my own course, and actually a lot of my own clients came and trained with me and said, wow, this is the best job in the world. Now I have certainty, diversity, connection, significance, growth, contribution, make a difference. I pick my own hours. I work around my children, and I find it so meaningful. I'm really working on helping fix other people, but in the process, I'm actually fixing myself. And people think to train in RTT, you need a degree in psychology. You do not. The only thing we look for is, do you have people skills? Do you like people? Do you want to make a difference? Do you want to help people? Do you want to be in the people helping business? It's a great business to be in, and you can be really successful at it too. Click the link below and find out how you can do what I do, and how you can wake up every day knowing that you're making a difference, not just to other people's lives, but to your own life too. I really think I've got the best job in the world. I've trained 10,000 people now, and they think the same thing. And guess what? You could be one of them as well. Click the link below, and I'd love to meet you soon. 33 years of being a therapist, I might work with a movie star, an Olympic athlete, or someone who's a school teacher, and they all have the same problem. And the problem is almost always I'm not enough. I mean, I've worked with so many addicts, thousands of addicts. I've never met one who ever thought they're enough. They'll say, you know, I drink because I'm not enough. I use because I'm not enough. I am addicted to spending because I'm not enough. What I see many therapists doing is the client comes in with a list, like what I call a shopping list. I need to stop drinking, I need to get out of bed, I need to stop shouting at my kids, I need to take care of myself. And they like to go through the list. It takes a long time. I go, oh, forget the list. Let's look at what I call what lies beneath. You know your problem? You think you're enough. Where does that, do you know a baby who's ever been born and goes, I shouldn't cry because I don't deserve attention here. I shouldn't throw up on this white top my mum just bleached. No baby is ever born believing they're not enough. And so, again, we look at where does this come from, this belief you're not enough? Who told you that? where did you get that? And when they go, oh, yes, it came from here, it's a game changer, because they start to tell them, I'm enough. People say, but if I'm enough, don't I just lie on the couch and eat potato chips all day? No. When you know you're enough, then you go, right, I need a better relationship than this, a better career than this, a better health than this. So
why do you think that is a true movement for that? Because one thing that I struggle with the notion of somebody just telling themselves that they're enough,
yeah.
I get the underlying power of repetition,
yes.
the importance of the words, and it feels like a very good foundation that the person
yeah.
then can build from. But where I struggle is I know that a lot of times people don't believe it.
Yeah.
And so if they don't ever then take those next steps of learning something or pushing themselves or doing something difficult, the words will ring hollow.
Yeah.
How do you help people establish meaning behind?
Well, I wrote a book called I'm Enough, and we have a program called I'm Enough, and what that does is it takes you the process of, where does this come from? You're not born with this belief. How did you get it? And when they discover how they got it, they're able to give it up. One of my first ever clients was this beautiful woman, very hard to believe, and she said, I can never make a relationship last. And it sounds so silly, but she said that her dad used to say to her every day, you'll never ever find anyone that loves you like me. Nobody could love you like me. You'll never find the kind of love that I have. And he programmed, when you label someone, you limit them. So now she's got an imprint. I'm never going to find love like this love. And guess what she never found? Love like that. And all you have to do as a parent is to say, I love you because you're lovable. And all your life you'll find love like this love because you're worth it. So it's little tiny adjustments that have the most profound effect on people. And it's never too late to say, I'm enough, I can find love. And now if you give someone the power to make you feel good, you give them the power to make you feel bad. And if you do it to yourself, you feel so much better. It makes you slightly bulletproof. You still need other people. We all need other people. But the dialoguing with yourself and starting with I'm enough, I picked that because I found all my clients addicts, bingers, bulimics, saboteurs, hoarders, compulsive shoplifters. They all went back to the same thing. I'm not enough. I need more. And if you feel enough, you start to feel equal. See, most of us feel unequal. You're better than me because you got money, or you're more attractive than me. But no dog or cat says, oh, you're better than me because you're a pedigree. A baby doesn't know that another baby's wearing designer clothes and they're not. They have no concept of that. So really what I'm Enough is doing is reactivating, remanifesting and regenerating what you were born with, an ability to say, I'm enough.
Yeah, it's interesting. So part of, I think, what happens is, obviously, when a baby is born, they're lacking the sort of critical faculties to navigate the world.
Yeah.
So, and this is, I put my finger on this because I want people to understand that they're going to struggle. So it's a little bit like meditation. People think I'm doing it wrong because they think there's some magical right that other people are doing and they're not doing it. Like, when you start repeating this stuff in your head, I think people will say to themselves, what do you mean you're not worthy? You bought your stuff at Target, like you're not significant,
we have a critical
whatever.
Voice.
Right. So learning that that's a thing and that's going to happen. That's a part of a normal human brain. It's designed to keep you safe and alive. It's not designed to propel you forward. So, but there are, once you understand, I mean, this is your language. Once you understand how the brain works, then you can go in and begin to tinker with some of this stuff to get where you want to go. Now, the tinkering part is what I want to get your take on. I'll use myself as an example. So I have experienced things that have given me the story that I have a bad memory. Okay. I recognize it as a story, but it's so fucking compelling because the evidence from the time that I was a little kid just seems irrefutable. So, okay, but I understand the mind well enough to know, hey, I'm screwing myself over here. I'm repeating it, which is making it worse, self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay. Jim Quick tells me, Tom, you have to stop saying that. I see you today. You're like, look, you have to stop saying that. And so I totally buy that I have to stop saying it, but I've known that for a long time. And I'm an ultra diligent, disciplined person. But for some reason, I haven't worked up the desire to see that one through. Now, because I have enough self-awareness, I can guess at the reason. The biggest reason that I'm hesitant is like, okay, look, my energy units are finite. So getting a good memory is going to be difficult. And do I want to put the time and the energy into this, yes or no? Because it's an allocation of time resources. Okay. So when I think about how far I've gotten, despite the fact that I have a bad memory, it's like, okay, it's not that big of a deal to immediately address. So all I want to convey with this is that sitting in neutral, it won't just happen.
No, you have to want it.
Correct. So that's my very question.
Some people don't, they go, no, I like being ill. It meets all my needs.
But how do you get people to build that desire? Because I get asked that question a lot.
Okay, so, well, most people that come to me don't kind of go, hey, I've come to see, but I don't want to give up my problem. I mean, they do with food. They go, I want to be super healthy. Okay, you're going to stop eating donuts. I don't want to do that. Have you got anything else? I'm like,
there's
no.
a difference between I don't want to do one thing and I want to do it, but I'm not sure I have the energy to see it through.
But you see, the belief is what you're saying is it's work, so much work. It's no work. So what I would suggest for someone like you is just monitor how you speak. Oh, I forgot that. I got a terrible memory. I got that. I didn't miss that. I got a terrible memory. And start to say, I have a phenomenal memory. I have an outstanding memory. I have a reliable, foolproof memory. So I saw it with my daughter when she was little. She'd leave the house and come back because she had so much to remember, her school bag and her swimming stuff and her lunch. And I'd always say, what have you remembered? She goes, I remembered my lunch. I remembered my swimming. I go, that's so great that you remember. And very quickly she went from, oh, forgotten, I've got to go home. My mum's going to be really cross to, no, my memory's great. At the gate it told me, school lunch, school coat. And of course, if you go to any kid's classroom, you'll see coats and bags. They forget everything. And we never go, well, it's the memory, you see. It disappears with age. And I've been people of 90 who can tell you everything about their childhood and what it was like in the war. So you have to just make a decision to tell yourself, I have an outstanding, reliable, phenomenal, incredible, impressive, foolproof, big words, of course, because you want to excite you. And if you say it enough, your mind's job is to give you that memory and then stop saying, what have I forgotten? Say, what have I remembered? And then something else you do is just say, that will come to me. You know, you have to understand the mind a bit. So when you're dealing with a conscious mind, the subconscious doesn't do anything. If you're saying, what's the name of that book or that restaurant? Oh, I don't know. I give up. I've got a terrible memory. You suddenly goes, oh, it's come into my head. It was this book. It was the Tim Ferriss book. I remember now. Because you've given your mind an instruction. What is the name of that book? Your mind will go and find it. But if you are still actively looking, it doesn't do it. So we have something called command therapy. You've got to command your mind. Go ahead and remind me where my passport is. Remind me. And so often it's just really poor communication. You know, people say, oh God, I'm flying to London tonight and I can never fall asleep on a plane. I just can't go to sleep. We're like, well, where are you going? You don't go anywhere. You don't fall. You lie on the plane and you invite sleep to come to you. Go, I'm lying here. My eyes are heavy and sleep's descending upon me like a mist. Because it's a misdirect of the mind, because you don't fall and you don't go. But when you say sleep's coming to me, and when I am in different time zones all over the world, I lie in bed and go, right, sleep now. Send sleep to me now. I insist on 8 hours of sleep. I need 8 hours. And I tell my mind what I want, but I am very clear, very specific, but not, can I fall asleep? I need to, because I've got to get up in 5 hours. Now I'm stressed. I just give my mind very clear instructions. You do have to train yourself a bit, but if you use those words, my memory is impressive and infallible, your mind knows what that looks like and it will make it real. If you just go, I need a better memory, that's not exciting. So excite it with powerful words and you won't be surprised, or you might, how much better it gets. But you've got to give up this belief that it's work. Because talking to yourself isn't work. Exciting your mind isn't work. Going to the gym is work, but saying every day as you get up, I've got a great memory. I can even imagine my diary and I can see what's in it. If you tell yourself that, it actually really becomes true, and you'll notice that everyone who's got a good memory will say, my memory is amazing. Oh, I have the best memory ever. They never go, I've got a mind like a sieve. I'd forget my head if it wasn't screwed on. I would forget the eyes in my head if they weren't there. But people with a poor memory, they justify it. They remind themselves how bad it is instead of deciding, no, I'm going to have a great memory.
I know that people say to you a lot of times, yeah, sure, okay, this is easy for you because nothing bad has ever happened to you. But you actually had I'm so curious to know how you characterize it. You had cancer.
Twice, yeah.
I was going to say battle, and then I thought, I don't know that she would say that.
Yeah, I don't use the word battle.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, one, I'd love to hear how you do
Yeah.
conceptualize it, and then how you dealt with it. I think would be really powerful for
Yeah,
people.
people do look at me and say, well, you've had an amazing life. But, you know, my life wasn't awful. My father was a headmaster. He was very invested in other people's kids. I just felt like this kind of hideous blob that wasn't interesting to him at all. I was told I could never, ever have children. And if I got pregnant, I would never carry a baby to full term. I remember hearing that thinking, you know what, I have to not let this in. And that's very important to make a decision. I will not let that in. So when I was told I couldn't have a baby, I thought, I'm not letting that in. And when I got pregnant, I was told many times, you're going to lose the baby. She's going to be born with something wrong with her. And I talked to her all the time and told her to grow perfectly, and she did. And when I was told I had cancer, I mean, of course, it's a horrible thing to hear. And I did spend the first 2 days thinking, oh my God, you know, well, where am I going to go with this? But because I've taught my mind for so long to only go towards positive, I found myself on day 3 singing this song. And it was that song about, you know, that song, I feel pretty and witty and wise, but it was saying I'm healing and my body is healing and it's healing all the time. And I just made a decision to tell my body, look, you're going to do wellness now. And so I started to do wellness, and I visualized healing, and I visualized it being very contained, and I visualized myself bouncing back. And 3 weeks later, I was on stage in Costa Rica. Not because I'm super, because I told my body, listen, I haven't got time to sit in this hospital bed with medication, do wellness. I really did command my body to recover. And it sounds like it's all right for you, but again, you have to understand the rules of the mind. Your body does what it says. If you go, I'm ill, I got cancer now, it's bound to come back, and always looking for signs. People say to me, you know, I'm a cancer survivor. I'm like, oh no, I'm not, because I don't have it. So I was obviously surprised when I got it again, but I just had to do the same thing and say, that's it now, twice is enough for anyone. I'm done with that. And I don't refer to it a huge amount. Never called it my cancer. That's my cancer. It was, I've got my cancer back, or I'm going for my cancer treatment. And when you prefix something with my, you own it. Like, you could look at my shoes, aren't they cool? Or got my great t-shirt. But when you say my migraine, my headache, my illness, my terrible memory, if you put the word my in front of something, it's yours. And if you call it the, it's not yours. So I was very committed to never saying my. It wasn't mine. I didn't want it. I felt very lucky that I got it in an organ that I didn't need, that was completely dispensable. So that was good. I remember even thinking, well, what stroke of luck that is. I don't need a womb. It's done its great job. And I talked to my mum and said, thanks for giving me this great kid. You did a great job, but now I've got to be here for this great kid, so you can leave, and I'm staying. Even in surgery, your subconscious is hearing what's going on around you, and there are many people who come out of a coma who said, you know, I heard everything. The hearing is the last thing to go. And so if you make a choice to talk to yourself better, you can bounce back. You might as well use your mind as much as you possibly can to be well. See, a lot of us think that people who are very successful never have setbacks, never have knockbacks, things don't go wrong, they lead a charmed life. That's not true. Success is not about never failing. It's not about never having setbacks. It's about how quickly you bounce back, how quickly you get back up. And I have found that the fastest way to stop spiraling and to get back up is to tell yourself that you have phenomenal coping skills. Many years ago, I worked with a girl who really had a challenging life. In fact, her mother's saying was this, I can't cope. They never went to the cinema or even the store. The mother couldn't cope with light or sound. She was light sensitive, noise sensitive. If you opened a packet of potato chips, it would make her react. Because the mother's words were, I can't cope with the noise, can't cope with the mess, can't cope with anything. My client grew up with a belief, I can't cope. And she had such an inability to cope that she ended up being hospitalized. And then she was a day patient, and then I began to treat her. And she said, you know, every week I have to go for therapy, and we sit in a circle and we have to say something good. And when it's my turn, I tend to go, well, today I saw some daffodils, it made me smile. Or yesterday I saw some bees and I felt good. And I'm like, no, forget the bees and the daffodils. This is what you are going to say when it's your turn in the group to speak. You are going to say, I have phenomenal coping skills. And next week you're going to say, I have extraordinary coping skills. And next week you're going to say, I have amazing coping skills. You're going to say it in that group. You're going to write it on your mirror. You're going to say it every day. It's going to become not just your affirmation, but your statement of truth. I promise you, if you say it, you send a message to your mind. And by the way, your mind does not care if what you're telling it is good or bad, right or wrong, useful or useless, helpful or not helpful. It doesn't care. You know why? It doesn't even know. So you can choose whether to go, I can't cope, or you can choose to go, I have amazing coping skills. I can't cope. I have awesome coping skills. You get to choose. You know what you can't choose? What you do to your body when you go, I can't cope. This is driving me crazy. I'm at the end of my rope. I'm at my maximum bandwidth. I just can't cope. I can't cope, because it's not true. Human beings are actually resilient. And the fastest way to stop yourself spiraling out of control, the fastest way to stop believing that events is all gone wrong. My flight got cancelled, my contract got cancelled, my partner left me, my child got sick, I can't pay my bills, I'm losing it, I'm sinking, I'm drowning in debt, I'm sinking into grief, I can't deal anymore. The fastest way to stop that is to have some amazing sentences. I have extraordinary, phenomenal, incredible, enviable, exemplary coping skills. Sends an incredible message to your mind that doesn't think, doesn't argue, doesn't disagree, just goes, hey, whatever you say, your mind is the genie. Your wish is its command. When you say, I have amazing coping skills, your words shape your reality, and it becomes real, because it's not the events that affect you. It's the meaning you attach to the event. It's not pressure. It's not people. It's your beliefs. So going back to my client, let me call her Annabelle. That wasn't her name, but we'll pretend it was. Annabelle came back and said, you know, it's amazing. I say that all the time. I even sing that song from the Muppets, phenomenal, da 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 da, phenomenal, da 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 da. I sing, I'm phenomenal. And it's just so in my head. I sing it, say it, speak it, think it, and I feel amazing. But you know what else has happened? The nurse said to me, Annabelle, the other patients also would like to say they have phenomenal coping skills. Is that okay? She went, well, it's not my word. Marisa told me to say it. It's a word I use all the time, by the way. So she said, sure. So they all began to say it in turn, different versions of it. And then the ward put up posters all around. You have amazing coping skills. You are a phenomenal coper. And they said that that ward, that group, if you like, had the fastest discharge and the fastest recovery. So I invite you to do the same. Be a coper. Tell yourself, I can cope with whatever life throws at me. Whatever's in my path, I cope with it because I'm a coper. Not only am I a coper, I'm a phenomenal coper, an extraordinary coper. I have phenomenal coping skills. You see, if your belief is I'm going to be perfect, I'm going to find a perfect person, have a perfect home, raise perfect kids, and have a perfect job, you know what you'll be? Disappointed. Perfection doesn't exist. in 30 degrees, I can tell you that my clients who keep trying to be perfect are not only the unhappiest and the most dissatisfied, they are also the loneliest, because we don't want someone who's perfect. We want someone who is real. We want someone who can cope, because that's a great thing. Oh, I can cope and you can cope, and let's cope with life together. Let's take the good and the bad, and let's just have a great life with our great coping skills. So let's imagine that you use the word, I can't cope. I'm in overwhelm. That's a new word. I'm in overwhelm. I'm overwhelmed. If you tell your mind that you can't cope, then you need something to help you cope. That may be drugs. It may be medication. It may be alcohol. It may be food. Because you've told yourself, I can't cope. And because your mind takes everything you say as literal, it's now going to look outside of you for something that makes you cope. I was working with a girl recently who had a very bad drug problem, and I told her something. I said, you know what? Drugs are for people who can't cope with reality. Reality is for people who can't cope with drugs. And she laughed and said, I never thought about that. Drugs are for people who can't cope with reality. So if I cope with reality, that means I don't need drugs, of course. Rather, when we're in grief, we go, I need medication. I need something to take away the pain. I need a pill. I need a drink. You see, it's a belief. It's an action. I need something out there. Medication, drugs, drinks, cigarettes, cakes. I need something out there because I've just told myself I can't cope in here. In fact, when you can cope in here, you don't need anything out there. And you can cope with grief, as painful as it is. You can cope with loss. You can cope with setbacks. Because when you medicate, when you push them down with a massive tub of ice cream or with some drugs or with some alcohol, when you push them down, they don't go away. They regroup and they come back stronger than ever. All of my clients on antidepressants say, you know, it doesn't work. One of my clients came to me and said, I can't have sex with my husband. So I went to my doctor. He put me on Prozac. You know what's happening now? I still can't have sex, but I don't care. I'm just so numb. I don't care. Something was driving me crazy. Now I'm on medication and I'm just numb. I'm not up. I'm not down. I'm numb. You don't really want to be comfortably numb. You want to feel. And joy and pain are like the weave of a cloth. You can't have one without the other. We can have moments of immense joy, but there's also pain. Our parents will probably get old and die. We will get old and die. Things happen. But when you believe I can cope with anything life puts in front of me, then you can indeed cope. I lost both my parents and one of my dearest friends all in the same 3-month period. That was hard. But I was just so glad I had my parents for such a long time. I was so glad I got to be with them at the end and talk to them and say goodbye. And my father was saying, Joe, I've had a wonderful life. I've had such a great life. It's been an amazing life. He was a coper. My mother had a very different passing. And I felt no pain when my father died. Apart from I missed him, I felt a lot of pain about my mother because my mother wasn't a coper. My father was. My father decided he'd had an amazing life, and my mother didn't quite think the same thing. Be a coper. You get to choose. Remember, you can choose to be a coper. You can choose to believe you're not a coper, but you can't choose what believing you are not a coper does to your body, to your adrenals, to your cortisol levels. When you believe you are a coper, everything is easier. So be a coper all the time. Thank you so much for sending me in your questions, particularly about confidence and self-esteem, because we all share the same problems. When you send me in these questions and I get to answer them, it's helping so many other people who are watching now. Here's the first question that's come in. Hi Marisa, I really need your help. I don't know how I can build my confidence up again after losing my job. I wasn't kept in my role because they made cuts and favored others. I need to pick myself up, but it's so hard with this recent rejection in my mind. well, you have my sympathy, because human beings react very, very badly to rejection. Here's the truth. 500 years ago, you could have died from rejection. If you were banished, cast out, marooned, put into isolation, you probably wouldn't make it. We understand one thing. 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, survival was a numbers game. After all, if you've watched Game of Thrones, you understood that your survival was absolutely linked to belonging to a group. You were safe in a group, you were not safe on your own. And we always had this feeling, I will die from rejection. If I'm alone, I can't make it. That was true once. It isn't true now, but you know what? It actually still feels true. And then we hear all these songs, I'll die if you leave me. I can't live without you. I can't go on without you. And that's not true. But all these songs, don't leave me this way, convince you that rejection will kill you. It convinces you that we are fragile human beings who die from rejection. I'm going to tell you the truth. No, you don't. Imagine you could decide, I wouldn't recommend it, but you could decide to live in an apartment on your own forever, never see a soul, have Amazon deliver everything you need, and you might make it until you're 102. Wouldn't be fun, but some people live on their own with no people. I'm happy, I love my own company. But let's go back to you feel that the rejection has hurt you, damaged you, and you're not alone. I see many clients in my office who say, you know, I was bullied at school, and to this day, I can't be around people. I got fired in front of everyone, and I was so humiliated. I cannot get another job. So let's look at this. Your company made cuts. They kept on some people, not you. And you've taken that very personally, of course. But they may have kept other people on for reasons that you don't know. Perhaps they could multitask. Perhaps they had more experience. We don't know why they kept them. And I can only tell you that I look back on my life. I've been fired. I've been let go of. I've been dumped, I've been rejected. Most of us will say, oh yes, I got fired from a job I loved. The person I thought I was going to make a future with, they moved on. But when I look back now, I am so glad. I was asked to leave college when I was 19. That was my fault. I wasn't applying myself. It ended up being one of the best things that ever happened. When I went back to studying later, I was ready to apply myself. When the love of my life dumped me, he did me the most enormous favor. So the only thing you can do is go, okay, they let me go. They didn't reject you. They didn't dump you. They let you go. They were forced to make cuts. It's a shame they didn't keep you, but they had to make a choice. And it's very hard to let people go. I've had to let go of people in our company that just weren't right for all kinds of reasons. And it's hard. For instance, we had a PR, and then we decided to get a big PR company, so our in-house PR became not right for us. That doesn't mean he wasn't amazing. Back to you. You have to change the language from they rejected me, they favored others over me. Because the way you feel is down to the language you use and the pictures you're making in your head. They rejected me, they preferred others, I wasn't enough. Tell yourself the truth, they let you go. That's a shame. But think about why you got that job, the qualities you had, what you learned. There is another job for you. It's probably better. You're going to find a better job in a better company with better people. You have to really tell yourself, I've got something to offer the world. You know, Robbie Williams was kicked out of Take That, and yet he went on to have an incredible career on his own. Might have never done that if he hadn't been kicked out. Piers Morgan was fired. He was a very famous newspaper editor in the UK. He was fired, and they got an amazing television presenting job. You can look at many people. Martha Stewart went to jail, but she's still here, and she's still got an amazing career. It's not what happens, it's what you make of it. Events don't affect you. I know that's hard to grasp. Being fired does not affect you. What you feel about being fired will affect you. Otherwise, Robbie would have said, they fired me. well, that's the end of the world for me. But he didn't. He went, well, I'll be solo. I'll come back. You have to have the bounce back factor. Be like a big rubber ball. Say, hey, I'm going to be like Robbie Williams. I'm going to be like Piers Morgan and other people I can think of have been fired, been let go, been replaced. I'm going to move on. I'm going to remember I've got something to offer the world. I promise you, you have. So take your focus off being fired and rejected, because whatever you focus on, you get more of. And put your focus on why that company employed you, how long you were with them, what you did for them. Look at your skill set. Go to a new company. And if they say, what happened? Just say, oh, my last company made cuts, but I was ready to move on and I was looking for something else anyway. I promise you, as long as you stop using those words rejected, dumped, fired, let go of, and just understand that it happened. I had someone who was a nanny to my little girl. I have to say she was a terrible nanny, but I really liked her. One day I said, you know what, I'm going to tell you the truth. You're not cut out to be a nanny. You're a great girl. I like you so much, but this is not your calling. And I let her go, and she found a much better job. We're still friends. I still adore her. She just wasn't the job for her. And when she found a job that was, she was a million times happier. And sometimes that's how it is. I've been fired at least twice. Once I was let go of, just like you, they didn't have the money, and I was fired from something else. I don't even know what it was now. Oh yes, it was when I was a personal trainer. And both times I look back and they did me a favor. I'm so glad it happened. There was something way better for me, and there is something way, way better for you. Here's another one. Hi, Marissa. I have such low self-esteem that I even feel hopeless about taking actions to try and overcome it. I'm not young. I hide in plain clothing and feel self-conscious about my looks. How can I stop feeling so down on myself? Well, do you know what self-esteem means? A lot of people don't, and that's perfectly okay. Self-esteem means what I think of myself. If I said, hey, I hold you in the highest esteem, that's what I think of you. But self-esteem is what you think of you. And again, a lot of the way you feel comes down to your words. I feel hopeless about taking action. I don't know how to overcome it. I'm not young. I hide in plain clothing. I feel self-conscious about my looks. So you need to stop all of that and decide that your looks, that's just the wrapping. So I'm going to pick some words out of your question. You say things like, I feel hopeless about taking action. I don't know how to overcome it. I'm not young. I wear plain clothing. I hide in plain clothing, and I feel self-conscious about my looks. But I want to tell you the truth. You are not your looks. You're not the numbers on your birth certificate. You're not the numbers on the scales. You're not the labels on your clothing. You're not your age. You're not your past. You're not any of those things. You are lovable exactly the way you are. You know, I had a very glamorous mother, but I loved my grandmother. She had big arms and she would hug me, and she was very frumpy, but I just loved everything. To me, she was the most beautiful person in the entire world. So I want you to start by changing your language. I want you to stop using the word hopeless, because it means I have no hope. I want you to stop using the word you're not young. Young doesn't mean anything. Many people say, you know, I never want to go back and be 25 again. I was a massive insecurities. When I was 17, I think I was one of the most insecure people in the world. And then I grew up. I got to like myself. I had to like me before other people would like me, because when they liked me and I was insecure, I always thought, well, they don't really like me. They like who they think I am, and that's not me at all. And stop hiding. Wear the clothes that you like. Be you. Don't feel self-conscious about your looks, because you're not your looks. Your looks are just the wrapping. Who you are inside is what matters. So I want you to stop berating yourself. I want you to start recording the way you talk to yourself. Let's imagine you get up, you look in the mirror and go, oh my God, look at the state of me. I'm not young. I look old. These clothes are very dowdy. Imagine if you shared your house with a roommate and the first thing you said was, well, you look terrible. I mean, you look hopeless. You don't look young. You're just hiding in those plain clothes. You're never going to make it. And you criticize them constantly throughout the whole weekend. They would find another roommate very fast. They'd find another place to live. You have to start being your own very best friend. You must be kind to yourself. You must love yourself. So how do I even do that when I hate what I see in the mirror? Well, you have to look at them and go, look at you. Look at me. I'm a warm person. I'm a kind person. I'm a nice person. I'm a good person. Smile at yourself. Treat yourself the way you would treat your very best friend. Install a cheerleader who says, look at you. You can do this. You've got this. You see, there are many people who look stunningly gorgeous, breathtakingly beautiful, with designer clothes, who are miserable. I know, because many of those people are my clients. They come and they go, yeah, but you know, I look like this, but I'm unhappy. I've got everything, but I'm miserable, because they don't have what you don't have, self-esteem. And I have clients who are billionaires living on yachts with everything except self-esteem. We're saying, am I okay? Do I look okay? Did I do okay? The most important words you will ever hear in your entire life are the words you say to yourself. So start changing it. And here's how to go through your little paragraph and change it all. I want you to start by saying, I like myself. I'm a good person. I want you to say these 4 things over and over again. I am lovable just the way I am. I'm significant. I'm enough. And I matter. Every day you must say those. I'm lovable. I matter. I'm significant. I'm enough. And you can add to that, I like myself. I believe in myself. I'm a good person. Think of all the good things you've done. Think of every bit of praise you've ever had in your whole life. You say, I haven't had any. It's never too late. Praise yourself. There is nothing that will boost your self-esteem like praise, particularly your own praise. So you have to do it. Hey, look at you. There you are in the mirror. You're a good person. You're a nice person. You're real. You're genuine. You're authentic. You have a good heart. You're caring. I know all of these are true about you already. And then start, I'm taking action. I'm liking myself so much that other people like me too. As I raise my self-esteem, as you raise your sense of self-worth, self-value, self-image, and self-esteem, you give everyone around you consent to raise their sense of your worth and value and esteem. And stop hiding in plain sight. Wear what you want to wear. Wear bright colors. Somebody wrote to me a little while ago, in fact, it's still up on YouTube, said, hey, Marisa Peer, why do you wear young clothing? Why don't you dress like the old woman that you are and you wave your hands around like a stupid person and everything you say is stupid? And I read that and thought, okay, I never actually thought a silk shirt had an age restriction on it, but you know what? I dress for me. I'm not going to dress to please you. I dress for me. Sorry, I don't like the way I dress, but I dress for myself. I'm not changing anytime soon. I'm not going to demure and frumpy because I like the way I dress. I don't mind if I wave my hand, and if you think what I say is stupid, that's fine. I think it isn't. My opinion mattered more to me than hers. I didn't let it in. If I'd let it in, I couldn't share it with you. I'd go, oh my God, I'm so hurt, I'm so sad, or I'm so angry because I'd let it in. I didn't let it in. It went straight over my head because it's her opinion, not my opinion. Your opinion is what matters to you. So wear bright, bold clothes. Make a statement. Go out. Live your life. Be nice to yourself. Don't be down on yourself. Big up yourself. I said, when your life is ending, no one says, oh, I wish I'd stopped drawing down. I wish I'd been quiet and reclusive. They say, I wish I'd lived more. I wish I'd got up early, gone to bed late, and lived a life. This is your life. Grab it with both hands. Do what you want to do and do it for yourself. Have fun. Believe in yourself, raise your own self-esteem with praise, because that will do it massively, powerfully, permanently. And remember, so many people listening thinking, wow, that could be me. Thanks for writing that letter. You've helped me. You've helped a lot of people today just by being so honest. But the things you said are opinions about you. They're not real. You're probably a lovely, wonderful, warm person, and you'll always be that way. So believe in yourself, be kind to yourself, live your life, and I wish you every success. Hey Marissa, I've moved to a new city recently for work and I only know my colleagues. How can I find the confidence to meet new people? I would really like to have a friendship group here, but I find it hard to get to know others. Well, I wonder why you find it hard, because you know, people like people. The whole COVID thing has made us all understand the truth. It is our relationships with people that make us feel good. I'm going to give you lots of hints about how to find friends, but the first thing you must do is decide you are a friend worth having. You are a person worth getting to know. If you find it hard to get to know others, that must mean that somewhere, somehow, you don't believe you're worth it. I want you to go, I'm worth being with. I'm a great friend. I have so much to offer. Say it, state it, think it, make it real, and then decide, okay, I want friends. Well, first of all, go to a gym, go to some classes. People love meeting people that have stuff in common. You do a workout and you go, oh my God, that was hard. Or wasn't that great? Didn't you love that teacher? Go to a gym, find things that you love. If you love Greenpeace or Friends of the Earth or running, in a city there will be running groups, conservation groups, something you can join. And when you find something you have an interest in, of course you'll make friends, because we like people who are like us. I went to something in London called Eat With. I went with my husband, and it was this amazing thing where you could just go to someone's house and they did these dinner parties. We met a girl there all on her own, and she invited us to go to her weekend house for the weekend. And we went and we had a great time. We met even more people, but she was on her own. She said, you know, I have to go to these events alone, but I meet people. They were small groups of 8 or 10 people. Never feel bad about being on your own. You're not alone. Alone means all one. But you have to make an effort. A lot of people think, hey, I'm just going to sit at home and manifest friends. No, you've got to put in the work. Think of the people you like. Do you like techie people? Do you like people who are fit? Do you like people who love cooking? Whatever you're interested in, find a group and join that group. There's nothing wrong with going to evening classes, going to cookery classes, joining IT, going to play golf, join a poker school, do anything that will put you around people. Offer to walk someone's dog, go onto the computer. There are so many different people looking for people like you. And the other thing that's important is wherever you live, go to the local hairdresser and talk to them. Go to the local salon, the local spa, and just get to know people. Don't be scared of going, hey, you look interesting, or gosh, I love what you're doing. That book that you're reading looks amazing. I chat to people in the nail spa all the time. And finally, the colleagues you have, let them know, hey, I've just moved here and I'd love to know where I should go. I want to go hiking on a Saturday. Is there a hiking group? I want to go somewhere. Where's the best restaurant? Please be confident enough to say, I'd love to meet more people. Could I join you for the weekend and meet your friends? They're not going, no, you can't. They're going to go, sure, of course. So be honest. Tell people, I'm just new here. I'm really interested in X, Y, Z. Could you recommend where I should go? And by the way, invite those people to your house. Have a barbecue, have a picnic. Invite them over, because they will bring other friends. And you just never know what you're going to find. One of my clients decided to walk a dog because she was so lonely. She walked an old lady's dog, and she started to date that lady's son, who happened to be there one day when she came to get the dog. You know, I didn't walk her dog to find a boyfriend, but I definitely found a boyfriend by walking her dog. There's lots of people that have camaraderie. You could even go to a shelter at the weekend and help feed newborn kittens. There's so many things that you could do. I'm not interested in that. That's fine. But if you want to meet people, put yourself out. Think about where they'll be. Volunteer. Do things. Join groups. Join online groups in your area too. And in no time at all, you will have friends. If you want a friend, be one. Think about the kind of friends you want. Decide that you are absolutely lovable. You're enough. You are worthy of friends. People are all around the world. We love people. We love meeting new people. When I moved to the canals in Venice, I didn't know anyone, and we met so many friends. We put ourselves out. I would walk those canals every day, and if I saw someone with a dog, I'd go, "Oh, your dog is so cute. What's his name? Can I pet him?" My husband would say, "How do you meet all these people?" I go, "I stop and talk to them." I go, "Oh, your garden is amazing." But I particularly use their pets. And I found myself getting, one day I was paddleboarding down the canal, and this person said, "Hey, drop your paddle, come and have a drink." So I had a drink. I called my husband. He came and joined us. And that was a wonderful community. But you have to make the first effort. You have to talk to people. And people like talking to people. Put yourself out. I've now got so many friends on the canals, but they didn't come to me. I went to them. The week I moved in, I had a dinner party. I invited people over. In fact, I'd lived there 5 days. I didn't even have any silverware. I had paper plates, but I just wanted to be a part of this community. And now I am in the same thing in my London home. I invite people over. I speak to people in stores, in the street. It sounds hard. It's easy. Fortune favors the brave. Just do it. The more you do it, the easier it is. The easier it is, the more you do it. And you will have enough friends. After all, you don't need many, but you'll have them. And join online groups too in your area. Learn to speak, learn to be vulnerable, learn to be yourself. And remember one final thing. The basis of all friendship is this. We choose people who share our vulnerability. Don't be scared to ask. Don't be scared to go, "Hey, I'm a bit bored. Would you like some company? Hey, I'd love to go to this movie. Would you like to come with me? I'm thinking of trying this restaurant. I'd love company." People who share their vulnerability have friends. People who go, "I'm perfect," who pretend that everything is okay. I don't need anyone, are lonely. That doesn't have to be you ever. Check out my next video here. The way you feel about anything at any time is down to two things: the pictures you make in your head and the words you say to yourself. And number one habit to stop you being successful is waiting for perfection.